This is where you realize number one, you're either a winner or a loser. Look, I 50x my income when I changed my life. I'm doing better than everyone else I know. No, I'm not even joking.
Hello. Okay, hi everyone. Let me know how the sound is. I'm using my portable mic, as you can tell. So if it's too loud, too quiet, hopefully you can't hear me breathing. Aaron says, hey, no beverage as of yet. Need to remedy that. Get your husband to bring you a drink. That's what I gotta say. Oh, you can see my laundry. We're streaming from the bedroom today. We have company staying with us, so I don't have an office, but I do have a bubbly drink. Today we have bubbly orange. I don't know if this is what I drank last week. Probably. It's also really sunny, and I'm hoping I don't have any lights or anything. I'm just using the window, and I'm hoping the sun doesn't lower before we finish here because it's going to be right in my eyeballs. Sound is okay, different, but okay. Perfect. Just sounds like you're in a bigger room. Okay, gotcha. Which is funny because I have like a stack of pillows right in front of me, so you'd think it would like absorb the vibration, but I digress. I'm like super self-conscious about the mouth noises now. Pablo was asking me before I went on live if I wanted him to order me a pizza, and he was like, "Oh, you can just like eat it while you're streaming." I was like, "Everyone is gonna unsubscribe from my channel if I do that. This is not a mukbang." Robert says, "I'm drinking Zevia today. What flavor? Let me know." I think I've told this before on stream, but I only ever tried the root beer one once, like, oh my god, 5, 10 years ago, and it was not good, but maybe they've changed their formula. Ah, what a great suggestion. Aaron says, perhaps next time you have company, you can do the stream from your bathtub. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'll have to add it to my list. Okay. This comment saying I'm a little quiet, but I cannot. The volume is maxed. I can try. I also have like an actual thing that I can like hold. I just thought it might be kind of annoying to hold it. I'll just yell. Okay. Today we're going to be watching. Not watching. We're not watching anything. We are. There's a hair in my lip gloss. We're going to be listening to a podcast series. It is a free live training, blah, 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 whatever they want to call it, like a private podcast, masterclass, insert name of freebie here. Anyway, apparently it's going to teach us how to build a business with no strategy. So we're going to see how that goes. Yeah, Bubba is already asleep, so he's so cute. Yeah, so we're just going to get right into that. I also have a few, I guess, sorry, it took me forever to figure out what we were going to watch on stream, which is why I was so slow in setting this up. Then once I figured it out, I went through my Jane Doe email address, as I always do, and this email was actually from like March, I guess I signed up for this free training, and I have a bit of a funny story, I guess, before we jump into it. But basically, I don't even remember when this was. It was probably like a year ago now. I got reached out to, is that proper English? I got reached out to by a news outlet. I don't even remember the name of the publication. It might have been The Independent, I think, in the UK. Anyway, they were doing a profile or like editorial piece on the life coaching industry, basically talking about, you know, the scammy side of life coaching and then the good work that's being done in coaching. Because again, if you're familiar with my content, you know, when I first started making this content, I was very much like, coaching sucks, all coaching is terrible, blah, 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 blah. After the conversations I've had with many of you in the audience, and different things that I've, you know, read and experienced online, my perspective on that has changed quite a bit. And I do think there is a space for ethical and productive coaching. And so when this reporter reached out to me asking for me to, you know, be featured in this article, obviously advocating for more ethical practice, the scammy stuff that's going on in the industry, etc., I was excited, you know. I don't even remember if we got on a Zoom call, or I think she just like emailed me a bunch of questions and I just typed out my responses. And so I was excited to have this opportunity. And then flash forward like a month, the article comes out and I start to read through it, and the ethical coach that they chose to highlight is the woman we're going to look at today. And so as soon as I saw this article and I saw the other coach's name, I was like, I do not want to be associated with this. And so I never shared this one. Often if I get like, you know, interviewed with a reporter or whatever, I'll share the news article on my Instagram stories. This one I never told anyone about because I was so embarrassed that the author, the writer, what do you call them when it's a newspaper? They're still an author, right? The reporter, journalist, did not do their due diligence, aka Google this person's name and the word Reddit to find out all of these different freaking threads that are written about this person. I was embarrassed. Anyway, long story short was I never told any of you that I got featured in this article because I was like, if they didn't do their effort to like suss out the ethical person, does that mean I'm a scammer too and they didn't do their due diligence on me? Anyway, so now we're going to look at her. So after that experience, I was like, I need to see what this lady's about. I signed up for her email list, and here we are. Hello, James. Hello, Monica. Yes, we are going to get rich. That is the plan. And we will be, in fact, yes, doing it without any strategy. So get your pens and papers ready. I am certain this is going to be a good one. Oh my God, it is so zoomed in. Is that? Nope. Okay. You guys just have to look at my big fat head, I guess. Let's bring Bubba back on the screen. But yeah, all that to say, if you guys want to see the article, I can share it. But never again. Never again will I agree to get featured until I suss out who else they're interviewing for these articles, because that was just a disaster. Okay, so can you even, no, why is it, what can you guys see? I don't know why, I don't know what this is. It's showing my desktop. Oh my God, it's like I've never used the internet before. There we go. Yes, so this is called the Anti-Strategy Masterclass, and it is, as you can see, like an 8-part series it looks like. Each episode is anywhere from like 6 to 20 minutes long. So I don't know how many of them we'll get through or how good or bad it's going to be. Good. But basically, apparently, we're going to learn how to use no strategy and just, you know, make money that feels good. Apparently, it's going to teach us from the description. It's going to teach us how to make money that feels good so we can say no to money that doesn't feel good. Okay, so buckle up, get ready, and let's jump right in. As always, let me know how the sound is, especially with this other mic, and I can hopefully level it out a little bit.
If reaching goals in your business has ever felt like struggling to climb a waterfall, tune in as Andrea Crowder breaks down her mindset and energetic strategies that led to almost $500,000 in cash received in 1 quarter without taking a single cent that felt like pressure. This is the Anti-Strategy Masterclass, where every penny feels like pleasure, not pressure. Let's go to the show.
Okay, we are live. I have been ready for this since I woke up. Y'all, I have been holding this in all fucking day. You guys, I'm about to light you up. I'm about to light you guys up. Whew. You guys are going to have some.
Okay, I'll turn the volume up. Also, her sound quality is garbage. So bad. Might be the worst we've heard yet.
Energy to take with you for the rest of this week. I have so much to share with you. First of all, thank you for coming. Thank you guys for showing up for this. We had almost 1,400 people register for this. We were not ready. we did not fucking expect this. And also, like, you guys were ready.
Guys, I'm
So
crying.
it doesn't matter whether we saw
So
it happening or not. Like, we knew it was correct. And I'm going to share with you guys so many juicy tools to be able to take with you. But what I want to start.
I think I've ranted about this on stream before, but I cannot stand when anyone, it doesn't have to be a coach, it could be any kind of online business owner, copywriter, etc., uses words like juicy, tasty, like things you would use to describe food to explain their offers. It's just like there's something about it that instantly gives me the ick.
Start with is that I'm not going to be the coach that says hold the faith or just believe harder. I want you guys to walk away, even though it's an anti-strategy masterclass, what I want you guys to walk away with is tangibility. Something that you guys feel like you can hold in your hand, something that you feel like you can come back to as
Is that a word? Tangibility? I gotta Google this.
a resource over and over and over and over. I thought that I was gonna do this masterclass for free and then eventually charge for that. I don't think that's going to be true. I think I'm going to leave this free for you guys. You guys are going to have access to this tool for as long as you want and come back to it. I remember when I first started my network.
Oh yeah. So this podcast series, available forever. So don't worry. If we don't get through all the episodes today, guys, you can sign up on your own and still get access to it completely for free for as long as you want.
Network marketing business back in 2011, and I heard somebody say repetition is the mother of all skill. So I was the one that heard that and said, okay, I'm going to take the things that I can feel are actually creating progress in my business, and I'm going to listen to them over and over and over and over. And this was back when you would do, like, I don't think Audible was a thing yet. I mean, like, look how fast the internet goes. That was only 2011. I don't think Audible was a thing quite yet. And so I was still doing stuff on CD. So I would like pop one. It feels like I'm telling you guys I was doing shit on 8-tracks. Some of you guys don't even know what that is. It's fine. I'm 40 and I'm proud. Y'all, 40s are lit. Somebody should have told me. I was scared, but now I just want the whole world to know 40s are lit.
What is this lady saying? Like, we're 3 minutes in? And again, like I always say, it's ironic when I'm calling these people out for yapping about nothing, because that's literally what I do for the first 10 minutes every time. But like, you guys come here to just listen to me yap, word vomit, say whatever I want. If I'm showing up and making time in my schedule for a master class where I'm supposed to be learning something that I can apply to my business to get super wealthy, teach me the thing that I showed up for. Don't just sit here and yap, yap, yap. Ah, CDs, I'm so old. Oh my God, I'm 40. Like, you're wasting my time. Please stop and get to the point.
But no, I was the person that would put the CDs in over and over and over and over. And I would use what I used to call like my drive time academy on my way from home into my office to be able to educate myself so that I would think differently in order to be able to create an online business. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I had one Instagram follower. That was my sister. So, and then I had maybe a couple hundred Facebook friends. Probably like most people were using social media back then. People weren't really using social media to build businesses quite yet. Marie Forleo and all of her homies were just really starting to like take over the internet using social media. And it's so crazy because I thought I was behind back then. And now I look back and I was like, damn, we were on the forefront. Never mind. I don't wish nothing.
Okay, so I'm thinking this woman started in MLM, she said, and then she transitioned into coaching. Aside from that article that I mentioned at the beginning that I got featured in with her, I don't really know much about her. I just, when I saw her name in this article, I Googled her and I was like, oh, fuck. FML. Hello, hello, Ben, Suzanne, welcome. Ben, to you, I will say this.
Take trips, post on Instagram. Buy a cool car, post on Instagram. Get your Instagram poppin'.
Get your Instagram poppin', and let's get rich. Space Pastry says, I'm here for the app. Hello, everyone. I'll mostly be in the background admiring Bubba's paw. He's like twitching. Oh, so cute. So sweet. Hello. Yeah, her sound is terrible. We want to know why she's not streaming from the bathtub like the other gurus. I'm guessing, what was she saying? She was at the forefront of the internet social media movement back in 2011. Sounds like she hasn't updated any of her audio equipment since then. Allegedly, in my opinion.
Everything happened exactly as it was supposed to. But what I want you guys to know is that this resource is going to be accessible to you. So come back and listen to it over and over. Set a timer on your phone and come back and say like, okay, I'm going to commit to listen to this 10 fucking times until at least these pieces feel like muscle memory. Whatever piece.
I don't even want to listen to it once. Why would I come back here multiple times? Please, help.
Where it like lights up your body and you're like this. I want you guys to listen to me as we go through today's masterclass. And by the end of it, I want you to just pick one or two things where you can feel that shock in your body and you're like, oof, if I changed at least this one thing, something would be different in my business. Something would be different in my life. Every single thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about today is going to impact any relationship in your life, not just your business. It's going to impact how you live at a fundamental level to create deeper pleasure than you've ever had in any area of your life. You guys will be able to use this and spread it out across any category in your life.
So Suzanne, to catch you up to speed, this is an 8-part masterclass podcast series with no deadline. So it's not like, oh, you can only watch the replay for 48 hours. You get unlimited access to this masterclass so that you can watch it over and over and over and over and over again. Lucky you and me and everyone else. Guys, let me know if you want the link.
And it will improve. I promised my coach, Allison Bird, that I was going to shoot word sperm at you guys today. So, and now I've done it.
What the is word sperm? Oh my God, I swear to God, some of these coaches make up these crazy terms just to try and sound edgy. Like, to me, it's very off-putting, but like, this reminds me of the woman we watched maybe like a month ago that was going all like loopy on her live video. Same vibes of just like saying really off the handle unhinged things and be like, I'm so edgy. Look at me making weird words. Like, okay, but what's your point?
So now that I have fulfilled that promise to her, no,
what is happening? What is
she's
happening?
Like, you're gonna give them so many idea babies, and I was like, I'm gonna shoot word sperm at them. So I thought I would start off with a big A. I told you guys I've been waiting since this morning. You are not ready for me. Okay, so I want you to sit back. Know that you guys are going to have the recording to this. If you're like shocked with an idea that you want to write down, go ahead. But I want you guys to just lean back and hang with me. You don't need to take a bunch of notes. You guys are going to get the slides delivered to you. Do not worry. And you guys will have access to the recording to listen to whenever you want. We'll give it to you guys also in a private podcast feed per the usual, so that you guys can access things really, really easily.
Oh yeah, so this was a Facebook Live, but I didn't want to. I don't have like a fake Facebook account, so I try to avoid joining Facebook groups for this kind of stuff. So I didn't get access to the live trainings. I could only get the sound, like the audio podcast.
And you guys can just lean back and hang with me. In fact, this might be the first time all day where you were not doing and you were not giving, and you're just being and receiving. So cash left. It was a holy fuck moment, and also a fucking again. Y'all, I spent so many years trying to just build the momentum in my business. And I made myself a promise in 2020 that I was going to do whatever it took to figure out how to build a business that truly set me free. And I was on my way. I was making more money. Things were going a little bit smoother. I was starting to put my dream team into place.
Sorry, guys. All I said was, what did she say? Nothing. Word salad. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what she's doing. She's wasting my time. This one is called Turning Survival Mode into Pockets of Peace and Pleasure. That's the 411, the synopsis, the summary of what I said. I'll stop muting myself. Help.
So I had my personal assistant. At this time, I had just recently hired Dejan, and I was still refining. And I remember opening my account right before I was about to teach and thinking, how can this be the next puzzle piece that I figure out, where I don't see my bank account ever go below certain minimums again? And how is it that I can start to stack things in such a way, before I even knew the words, before I was even really using the word stack strategically or in branding or in programs, how can I start to stack things strategically in a certain way in order for me to create more of a foundation in my life and peace? Because you guys, I was straddling at this time in my life 1 foot in heaven and 1 foot in hell every single day. My business was heaven and home was hell. I hate to say that, but it literally felt like every single day. I remember one morning I was working out, and my workouts were necessity at that point, because the thought occurred to me, if I can't run fast enough, someone will die on my watch. And I was doing like a bear climb or something like that. I can't remember what that move is called. And I remember I was just trying to go as fast as I could and thinking, like, I just have to be strong. I have to be fast. And I believed that.
What? I don't know. I don't know really much about this woman. I don't know her story or anything. But what does this, like, trauma dumping is what it's giving, have to do with making money? Like, I thought you were, I guess I'm just really confused. I thought this was a training that was teaching us how to make money with no strategy. Ooh. Why are we talking about needing to know how to run? Presumably, it kind of sounds like maybe her partner was abusive or something, so she needs to learn how to outrun him. That's what I was kind of inferring. I don't know, maybe I misinterpreted that. You guys can let me know what you're hearing. I'm just really confused about what this has to do with learning how to build a business. Yeah, Aaron says, I'm back to what is happening. I'm not really sure what's happening here. Yeah, I'm lost and we're only on part 2. So, okay. Aaron says that's what I heard also. Harrison says she called it the anti-strategy for a reason. Pretty much all of what you cover reveals the lack of strategy. So true. So true. Silly us for having expectations that we would actually learn something in a podcast that's literally called anti strategy.
To actually be so true. And there were moments where maybe it actually probably was. My ex's PTSD was at an all-time high. It was very scary. My daughter's depression was at an all-time high. And I remember walking into the kitchen one morning as she was getting ready for school. And I was about to walk out the door to go do an errand. And I looked at her and I saw that her eyes were swollen.
Okay, again, I don't want to diminish anyone's lived experience or, make judgment about what people have gone through because I don't know this person. I don't know what their experience is. And quite frankly, it's none of my business. But that's the point. It's none of my business. Why are you using this in a business podcast to presumably pitch me something at the end that I'm going to pay you probably thousands of dollars for? Why are we using our trauma, our husband's trauma, our daughter's trauma to then sell our program? Like, I remember doing a video on here months and months and months ago of a woman that was using her dead sibling as a reason why she started her business and why you should start a business too, because now that my, sibling has passed away, I'm able to take care of my parents. Like, can we just each live our own lives? And yeah, we go through things that are probably incredibly traumatic, most of us at some point, and not leverage that as a means of making money? Like, I'm going to show you guys a post from Reddit after we listen to this episode. We'll read that post from someone who also experienced PTSD and allegedly signed up for this coach's coaching because they related on that fact of like, you've been through PTSD, I've been through PTSD. And spoiler alert, ended up in a worse off position. Like, I cannot stand when people try and leverage their hardships for their own financial gain.
And during this time, my daughter was fighting for her life. Her depression was so intense. And taking care and looking at two people that I love most in this life, my husband at the time and my daughter, I felt like if I dropped one single ball, people I loved would die.
Great point, Aaron, too. Great point, Aaron, too. Aaron says, oh, this seems inappropriate to share on her minor daughter's behalf. This is like the issue I have with people who are like family vloggers and stuff too. Not only are you leveraging your own trauma or even your husband's, like it's none of your business what's going on with my husband, right? Besides the point, a child cannot even consent to that. She cannot listen to this podcast and go like, hey mom, I don't want you telling everything to the internet. Like, I wouldn't want my mom having a podcast, broadcasting what's going on with me when I'm a kid. Like, I wouldn't want her doing that now, quite frankly. But I definitely wouldn't have wanted her doing that when I was growing up. Like, especially if I'm struggling with depression and other kinds of trauma, and then you're airing that out publicly on the internet? Like, to what end? What is the point? What are you trying to gain here from sharing these experiences? That's what I want these people to ask themselves. Horrific.
My business was what I call my pockets of peace. I don't know if you guys have ever moved into a new house, and I'm the type of person where I'm like, I just have to get one little nook. If I can just get one little nook organized and have some sort of like functionality and flow where I can just go like, be in that corner for a moment, the rest of it can be in chaos, and I can slowly start to kind of work out the wrinkles, so to speak, to be able to smoothen out the piece of the home. My business was that pocket of peace, but it still had some wrinkles that I was really trying to smooth out. It really felt like, even though every single day while I was trying to keep family members and the ecosystem of the home feeling safe and peaceful, I also still was demanding of myself that I feel like I was living and growing and thriving somewhere. And that somewhere was in my business. It was the only place that I felt like I had any sort of control, because there was a sort of a cause and effect only from me.
Harrison's comment here says, you can just feel how hard she is trying to trauma bond with her target demo. 1000%, because now she's saying, oh, but my business was my safe place. Which to me sounds like, so if you're dealing with really difficult situations in your personal life and you want your business to be your safe haven, your safe space, where you can feel productive and happy and blah, 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 buy my program, buy my course. I'll teach you how to live through your trauma and still be so rich and successful. Again, horrific, disgusting. I hate it here.
Because I could take enough certain actions and apply enough certain skill and enough intention to be able to cause some sort of reaction in my business. And now I look at my business and I remember setting this intention of, I'm going to start to apply new knowledge that I was learning through like rapid resolution therapy and like the trauma treatment that I was going through for myself and with my ex, and any new skills that I could apply into my business. And I remember saying, like, I'm going to just keep on adding one by one and refining over and over until I smooth this out, until there's not just a pocket of peace, but it just is peace, that it just is pleasure. And I see that for you too. And it doesn't matter whether you're going through maybe a more extreme conditions like I was, or whether there's just some frustrations in your business. I'm going to give you guys really, really tangible things to be able to continue to smooth out and to create more pockets of peace, more pockets of pleasure in your business and in your life. And now today, damn if I don't have some pockets of pleasure all fucking over. We just laughed on my team. And we said, like, did the universe flood me? Because it was like the universe wanted to orgasm all over me. It was like, we turned it into a whole joke of like, I didn't flood. If you guys missed out on my stories during the huge storm in Fort Lauderdale, our garage and a little bit of the downstairs floor got flooded last week or the week before, whenever that was. And we were joking and we were like, no, that was just the universe like whopping all over Andrea's house, celebrating like, hey, we here now. Can't even take me down with the flood. Like, it's still a pocket of peace. I can still find, create, and cause my pockets of peace. I can still find, create, and cause pockets of pleasure. Also, my business at that time was primarily like the bigger chunks of money coming in were through private coaching and through masterminds. And that's pretty norm. But what I realized was,
yeah, this is wild. So many of you in the comments saying like, what is with the mood change? I don't get it. I'm getting whiplash over here listening to this.
Is that if I stopped, so did my business, because the majority of the income was me trading my time for money. Right. And so as I was starting to kind of smooth out wrinkles around money, and I was starting to unknowingly develop what became my program WAP, Wealth Alignment Programs, as I was doing that for myself and beginning to embody and live those principles and figure out what was working and what wasn't, I also sat back and I was like, okay, now's the time to actually put some real intention into what would it look like if I could build myself out of my business someday. I don't want to. I love being in my business. My business is still the biggest like pocket of pleasure and peace in my life. I love it, outside of course, my children. Yes, yes. Although sometimes those guys are still assholes. I love them. They're still assholes sometimes. They're teenagers. I thought to myself, I look at people like Zig Ziglar, for example.
Imagine being her kid, coming across this podcast and hearing your mom refer to you publicly on her platform as a little asshole. Just imagine that. I just want you to just hold on to that. Put it in your heart and let me know, how does it feel? Okay? How does it feel?
Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling grateful? Are you feeling empowered? Are you feeling relief? Are you feeling, how does that feel?
How does that feel to know that your mom thinks you're a little asshole? Like, what is this lady saying? Ah!
Example, homie's dead. Homie's still making sales. And I was like, what if that could be my future? What if my future could be, I could create anything, I could take the wisdom that I know is sound and sure and duplicable, and I could put that into reusable resources for people, to where someday I could literally be dead and my work would outlive me. It could be a legacy financially for my children, and it also could be a legacy when it comes to wisdom for other people. And I started making intentional decisions around that, using Zig as like kind of my brand model. And in fact, I even said to Lorelai, who's my COO, the other day, I was like, what if I wanted to go into the mountains and like hang with a shaman for 60 days or 90 days? And I told you, P.S., I'm leaving tomorrow. How would the business still run? Because right now, I can step out for like a week or two, and my team, they've got it. Things are still running, but we hadn't really thought that far out. And so now the idea is like, how could I know that if I wanted to, that my team is still going to be making money, everybody's going to be getting paid, the community is going to be getting served, and my work is still making an impact.
Yeah, but I think that, I don't know, I've talked about why I think this sort of business model is problematic. Specifically, we saw it a lot in like the life coach school. I know Stacey Bayman uses this model. A lot of the bigger coaches use it, where they sort of take a step back from the active coaching. They hire staff to do the coaching on their behalf. They're like the face of the program, but then the actual service that gets provided is from the people that work for them. And I think over time, clients get kind of sick of that. And maybe if you've been in a program that was like that, you can speak to it in the comments. I've never participated in a program that runs on that model, so I'm not really sure how it feels as a client. But I would speculate that if I bought into this woman's program because I admired her and her energy and whatever this word salad is that she's serving us, I would be kind of upset if I showed up to the masterclass and she's taking time off in her business indefinitely. And so like her personal brand sold me on the idea, but then it's not her delivering the actual service. Like if you all subscribe to my YouTube channel and then I'm like, I'm going to take a step back, and I find someone else to just like step in and film all the content for me, you're going to be like, that's not why I subscribe to your channel, right? Like, I don't know. There's something about that model of like, well, I could just eventually step back from my business. Like, no, you've built a personal brand. You didn't build an actual company. Like, it's different when you have like a product-based business. It doesn't matter who the CEO or COO or CMO is. You can interchange those, and the product itself doesn't really change. But if you're a service provider running a personal brand, it's really hard to swap that out. I remember when I had my yoga business and I decided I was going to move from Ontario to BC, I knew that I didn't want to teach yoga anymore. And I had multiple people ask me if I was going to be selling my business Mind you, I didn't have like a studio space other than the one inside my house. And then I did like a mobile service. So the business I had built was entirely reliant on me, Danielle Ryan, and the personal brand that I had built. Like, yes, it had a business name, but the actual like customers and clients that I had signed up because of me. So it didn't really make sense at that time for me to sell the business to someone because they wouldn't teach yoga the same way I would, right? Like, when you have a personal brand, you don't really have the option to run your business on autopilot without you having to show up and do the work. Like, even now, I'm a freelance creator, but like, people hire me for me, my face, my tone of voice, my style of content. Like, unless I built an agency of like, you know, hundreds of creators, that would be something I could maybe take a step back from. But like, me selling myself as the service, I can't just sub somebody else in. Man, let me catch up on your comments. Suzanne says, I only like it if there's transparency. Most never tell you that they are not delivering it. Exactly. Like, it seems kind of shady to be like, join my coaching program. And then I don't even do any of the coaching. Delulu mindset. I've lost count of the red flags. So true. So true. Oh, shit. Okay, I accidentally skipped us around, so.
Wrinkles around money, and I was starting to unknowingly develop what became my program WAP, Wealth Alignment Programs.
Okay,
as I was doing that for myself and beginning to embody and live those principles and figured, and my work is still making an impact.
Okay,
how
here
is
we
it
go.
that more and more my business needs me less and less, and I can still have great impact? This is what I see for so many of you if that vision ignites something in front of you or ignites something for you. So today, now we've done almost a $500,000 quarter cash. That's just cash in the bank, not total sales. And then last month, we did a $157,000 sale on accident in a week. What? So it was jokingly effortless. And the reason that I say that is because I actually forgot we were having the sale. I like breathed an idea to Kayla, we call her Daddy K. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if we just did like a 12-hour sale with like these programs for the community?
So true. Hillary says, it just makes it so obvious that they're selling nothing of actual value. All they're selling is themselves. And so when they take a step back, there's nothing left. Exactly. Like, I could go get coached by some random coach literally anywhere on the internet. I could just Google it. I don't need to pay this woman's price for her specific brand if she's not going to be the one delivering the service. In fact, I'd probably get better coaching elsewhere from someone who's not a celebrity coach at a much lower price.
I feel like as I'm hearing what people are saying in DMs and what's going on with my community, I'm like, these programs I feel like we haven't talked about them in a while. Let's dust them off a little bit and remind people that they exist and they're available for them. And let's do like a 12-hour sale. We did a 12-hour sale and we did $40,000 cash. What? Easy. It was just, money was, y'all, the stripe was like boom, 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 boom all day. I've never seen anything like it in my business. And I was like, well, I guess we should maybe leave that open.
I'm not sure who her upline coach is. This comment is asking, is she a Stacey Vanin downline? I feel like she does that high-pitched, or they all do that high-pitched what? I believe you mean this one?
I'm always baffled when people don't have a life coach or don't want one. I'm like, what? It's the most amazing thing ever.
What? I gotta work on it, but yeah, I'm not sure. If anyone knows, let us know in the comments. Who's this woman's upline? Who is she a descendant of, if you will?
And we left it open through the end of the weekend, and then we left WAP on sale through the end of the week, and we did $157,000 in total sales.
Again, I know I keep pausing it, but we're 12, almost 13 minutes into this episode, and I still don't know. She spent the first 5 minutes talking about her trauma, her husband's PTSD, her daughter's depression. Then she just started talking about how she doesn't want to work anymore. What's the point here? I'm lost.
In March for funsies on accident. That is what I see for you guys. Remember, I had a little over $3,000 cash in my business in 2021, and we accidentally did $157,000 in sales a few weeks ago.
Okay, this makes sense. So this comment says that allegedly she was in Beachbody, and I know she did mention she started in MLM, so that makes sense. And then she was with Catherine Zankina and some other manifesting coaches. I actually expected this podcast series to be more heavy on the manifesting because I thought that that's what her like whole thing was. But I get no manifesting vibes here, man. I kind of wish we did. At least then I'd have something to talk about.
I want and I see for you guys starting to put teeny little things into place where you start to feel more grounded, where you start to feel more sure, where you start to feel more pleasure, more.
Alexa says that's the point. You're supposed to be lost. That's how they get me to buy, is by confusing the fuck out of me. You're right.
More peace and more excitement in your business. If you guys add these fundamental non-fucking negotiables slowly one by one into your business, you could build yourself out of it someday if you wanted to. I don't know what you guys are straddling right now. I don't know what you're straddling today. I don't know if you have one foot in heaven and hell like I did. I don't know if you have one foot in pleasure and pressure. I don't know if you have one foot in peace and chaos, but I see you. This human experience, man. It's hard shit.
Wait, you're saying this woman that we're listening to and Amanda had a course together? I gotta Google this. BRB.
But it can be lighter and easier. This is the biggest growth game as an entrepreneur I think that one could step into. And you guys have chosen that. Y'all are fucking crazy. Welcome to the club. Because there's also such reward, not just in what we're able to do financially, not just in the cool testimonials that we get to witness as we help and serve people, but just the experience of growing it is wild. My team was crying today. We're like, this is our job. Our job is to grow, be better, be lighter, be richer, be hotter. That's literally our job in the coaching industry. It doesn't get better. And there's no better time to be alive doing this work than right now, because we are the most resourced that we've ever been. You guys are going to hear me running a 7-figure business. You guys paid $0 to show up for this. And I'm going to tell you the building blocks that my whole business stands on. Recently hired Dejan. Our job.
Then tell me these building blocks. If you're gonna sit here and say, it's free and it's gonna teach you everything, then teach me. Why are you wasting so much of my time? Don't do me. Fuck, I'm getting pissed off, guys. Also, I found some information on the Googles. We will read it after this, then we'll go to Reddit, then we'll come back.
The building blocks that my whole business stands on, I'm giving them to you. Many will walk away from this today, and they'll be inspired and they'll have a little bit of a sugar rush and they will never come back.
No, because we're all confused as fuck.
if you're listening to me right now, do not let that be you. Do not let that be you. Be the one that makes yourself a promise. In fact, right now, like, put your pinky in the air and pinky promise me, Andrea, I'm the one. I'm coming for you. I'm coming with you. Y'all can jump right inside my car right now. There's no hierarchy. I'm not ahead of you. If you say I'm in it, I hear you. I'm laying this foundation right now. You're in it with me. We are side by side. You might have some 3D.
Yeah, okay, this is like not it. So Hillary's comment here says, if you're listening to this, pay me right now. Or if you're listening to this right now, pay me. This whole, I'm not ahead of you, we're all in the same playing field. She wants you to think that you're friends, allegedly, in my opinion, so that you'll buy whatever bullshit thing she's going to sell to you after we listen to all 8 of these. I don't think we're going to listen to all 8 of these. I'm getting too mad. But my point is, this is a tactic that these people use where they love bomb you and they want you to think, we're all one and the same, so that you'll pay them money. And guess what? The minute you stop paying them is the minute they stop being your friends. And it's the same minute they stop giving a shit about you or your business. It's manufactured, it's fake, and it's just so that she can get your money. Harrison says, I have a different finger in the air for this lady. I'm not going to put that finger up because I will get demonetized, but you guys can use your imagination. Rodney says, Air Pinky, baby, let's give our money away. Where's my credit card? Yes, Hillary, this is who you think it is. Transactional friendships, same MLM strategy, which makes sense. So that's what I wanted to get into. Let's go to her website because I found some interesting information on her website. So I know she already said she got started in MLM, but this just kind of confirms everything. So blah, 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 blah. Here's her story. 2002 teen pregnancy. Again, let's just trauma dump our entire about me because that's how people are going to know we're relatable. 2005, got my shit together, married the love of my life. We decided to bring the last member of our little family into the world. So then they had another kid. 2011, I launched a network marketing business with 200 friends and 1 Instagram follower. Okay, if you join an MLM, I might upset some people with this, but probably not. Most of you guys in my audience are the same as me. You're not launching a business when you join an MLM. You became an independent consultant, what do you guys call it in the US? A W-9 or something like that? In Canada, we'd call it, an independent contractor with an MLM company. You didn't start a business. You didn't launch your own business. Did she build a MLM? I don't think so. Somebody said she joined Beachbody. So, you didn't start an MLM network marketing business, baby. I grew that into a multiple 6-figure passive income while leading a team. Little bit of an oxymoron there. How is something passive income while you're also leading a team? Passive income means you don't do anything. Leading a team, to me, sounds like an active thing that would require your actual effort, right? Not to mention, 2011, peak time to join an MLM. If you got in that early, you'd be making so much money on the backs of other people. No joke. 1099, that's what it is. 1099 independent contractor. Thank you. Point is, you're not a business. Okay, anyway, continuing. So she had this MLM. I know there's a lot of controversy about this business model. Why? Not because the business model is broken, because there's always a few assholes who won't sit down and follow the rules. No, I'm here to say that allegedly, in my opinion, the MLM business model is broken. It is quite literally designed so the people that get in early at the top of the pyramid make the most amount of money while everyone else struggles. So love that. Love that she's still in denial, even though she's not in MLM anymore. But it's starting to make a lot of sense why she does what she does and why she believes what she believes, because she got her start in MLM, drank the Kool-Aid, and we've seen so many people transition from MLM into coaching, or at least I have. So this is making sense for me. 2017, I co-created and launched the Network Marketer's Blueprint for Massive Forking Abundance with the money queen herself, Amanda Francis. Oh my God, it's making so much sense. Oh, the link is broken. Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. Okay, 2018 to 2020, I co-founded Spiritually Intimate, a female-owned and operated physical product company that creates high vibrational products like Vibes Speak Louder apparel line and the Crystalette, a bralette with pockets to keep your crystals. Oh no. And then she exited that in 2020. And then she launched a 7-day behind the scenes experience of my business, now called Break Rules, Make Bank. So what was the business though? What was the business you were letting people into the back end of? I don't understand. So you hadn't launched a coaching business yet, but you were letting people see what it was like to be a coach. Am I understanding this correctly? I'm a little bit confused. Okay. Anyways. And then September 2020 to now, I founded and launched a physical product another physical product company. Lady, what are you doing? Where do you talk about the coaching? Okay, November to now, I launched 15-minute launch coach. A 15-minute launch coach was inspired by listening to one of my best friends talk about the fears coming up for her during her launch. I had already coached hundreds of women over the years. Okay, I'm still really confused. So like when she doesn't talk anything about her coaching business. So I don't really understand where that fits into the timeline. And I feel like personally, if I was selling coaching, I would probably explain on my website how I got into coaching and what kind of coaching, like what my journey in coaching was. I wouldn't be filling it with all this other stuff that's kind of irrelevant. Like if I was hiring this woman to be my coach, I don't really care that she used to have a business where she sold bras that you could put your crystals in. Like, tell me why I should hire you as my coach and what your experience in coaching is, right? Like, you can mention the other stuff in passing. It's all part of your story. But I want to know the skills that you have right now that's relevant to, like, why I'm going to give you all my money. Right? Am I missing something? Okay, Hillary's saying she's been coaching since before the Amanda Francis collab, if I understand correctly. Like when she was in her MLM, I guess. Because she had to, like, technically lead all of her downline. Very, very interesting. Don't think hand me money. Honestly, that's the vibe it's giving me. 100%. Hillary says, in quotes, I became intoxicated with helping people transform, aka I realized I could exploit more people and make more money with coaching than with MLM. I was actually funny. So I spent like an hour today trying to figure out what we were going to look at on stream. And I was going through like old notes on my phone where I had saved, different content. And I came across this podcast and I almost picked it for us to react to, but then I realized that this person, the podcast was from like over a year ago, and I guess they closed their business since then. But it was similar setup where it was a woman who was an MLM coach coaching people how to be successful in network marketing, which again, I've covered in like a deep dive video on my channel, but broken business model because they're making more money coaching you than you're ever going to make back in your MLM. But anyway, I digress. it's always interesting to me, and again, this applies to MLM coaching, any kind of coaching people on like a specific skill or industry. 9 times out of 10, you're going to make way more money being a coach of that industry than you are actually being someone actively working in that industry, which is, again, so fascinating how people let, their ability to make a lot of money overpower their ability to act ethically, allegedly, in my opinion. So let's continue. I have this Reddit thread pulled up here that I wanted us to read. I'm trying to think. Okay, I think it's this one. This one was just from like the other day. It got posted about this particular coach. And I wanted to pull this up because this episode we just listened to was going on and on about her trauma and her husband's PTSD and her daughter's depression and da-da-da-da-da. And I think that this post highlights how much that kind of emotional manipulation can really entice people to buy. And it's just really unfortunate. So this post is titled, "Spent over $2,000 on a course that I thought would help me with my PTSD, and now I just feel kind of gross about the whole thing." So I'll just read the post. Thank you so much to the person that posted this. This was in the Life Coach Snark subreddit, which I think most of you that watch my channel are familiar with, but if you are not and you do hang out on Reddit, I highly recommend. Lots of good tea being spilled in the Life Coach Snark subreddit. It says, "Just found this Reddit while Googling somewhere to post a review of a course I bought. This might be a bit of a rant, but I need to get this off my chest. I found this coach through Catherine Zankina, the manifestation babe, during a really weird chapter of my life. I was going through a nasty divorce and dealing with some heavy PTSD from a violent experience a few years back. I wasn't doing great, and I was just looking for something, anything that might help. Andrea was sharing on Instagram about her own divorce and how her ex-husband had been silently struggling with PTSD." See, this is what I'm talking about. She's sharing these personal experiences, which obviously I'm like an influencer. I say that in air quotes. I'm not like a real influencer, but I have a following, and sometimes I will share, bits and pieces about my personal life, filtered obviously, highly curated, selectively, to give people a little peek behind the curtain. And I think that that's fine. I think that a lot of, business owners, content creators want to be relatable, so they share, bits and pieces of their lives. No problem. When we are exploiting specifically highly emotional situations, trauma, that sort of thing, for financial gain, that's where I think it starts to become problematic. So that's just a little differentiation I want to clear up, but also just to reiterate my point of this thing that we just listened to where she's going on and on about her ex-husband's PTSD. And here is alleged proof that using that type of thing works to sell people into your programs. So then she started promoting her wealth acceleration, whatever the fuck it's called, course, and said something that honestly hooked me. She claimed the rapid resolution therapy she uses had completely cured her ex's PTSD. I wonder if this person listened to this podcast series that we're listening to now, because it seems like there's a lot of parallels here. Although it wouldn't surprise me if the content in this podcast is the same stuff she talks about on her Instagram stories. I wouldn't know because I don't follow her on Instagram. Not helped, not eased the symptoms, she said it cured him. She claimed that RRT, rapid resolution therapy, lets you reprogram your subconscious, and she would teach us how to clear any energetic blocks we had so we could manifest anything we want. And yeah, I know how that sounds now, but back then I was desperate to get help with my PTSD and financial situation from my divorce. This is what I'm talking about. We are exploiting people's vulnerabilities. Very, 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 very problematic. I hate this so much. The word cured hit me hard. I signed up almost instantly and paid over $2,000. I've done the course multiple times over the past year. I really tried. I wanted it to work, but I never got anything from it. No big shifts, no actual healing, no big financial breakthroughs, and the marketing claimed we would get. Just me showing up again and again, hoping the next time would finally do something. And to be honest, I spent a lot of time blaming myself, like maybe I wasn't doing it right or I didn't believe hard enough. But eventually I started to admit to myself it was just wasn't working. Then a friend of mine who had done 2 rounds of the course with asked if I was joining the next round. I actually thought about it for a second, mostly because we used to hang out and do the calls together and I missed that connection. But then she told me Andrea's not giving past students access to new updates anymore, and she paid $599 for access to the new updates. In the past, Andrea just dropped the new replays and content into a private podcast feed, but now if we wanted access to the updated version, that's another $599. That was kind of my wake up moment. Like, really? After spending thousands already, we're cut off unless we pay more? Very, very interesting that she would adjust the business model. Again, purely speculation on my part, but knowing what's happening in the coaching industry and how people aren't as quick to buy a lot of high ticket offers, I'm curious if maybe she wasn't getting a lot of new signups, and so she saw this as a way to like milk her already warm audience by getting them to keep paying in order to continue to access it, maybe? Pure speculation, I'm not stating that as fact. And to make it worse, Andrea regularly posts on Instagram bragging about how she makes millions a year and has $100,000 days. Literally posting from luxury trips and designer stores, while feeling led to charge her current students for updates to a program that frankly felt very low effort and half-assed and overpriced to begin with. It feels good to admit out loud and not try to think positively about it. She claims she's a much better teacher now and has had this revolutionary up-leveling and is now redoing the whole program. I don't understand why a millionaire wouldn't want to charge their past customers to have access to the improved version of the product. It's a weird, icky vibe that I can't unsee anymore. It all just feels like a slap in the face. I feel manipulated, I feel dumb and embarrassed for falling for it, but mostly I feel gross. If you're considering buying from someone selling miracle healing vibes in a shiny package, slow down, ask questions. Sorry this is so long. This is the only place I could talk about this experience. Again, I want to give big thanks to this person. I believe I replied saying that. Yeah, basically just like, it's so important that people who fall prey to these schemes, whether it's this particular coach that we're looking at today or any of these coaches, to not sit in the shame and the like discouraging feeling of knowing that you got duped, because these programs and their marketing are quite literally designed to take advantage of you when you're at your most vulnerable, when you're desperate for that solution, when you want to find a way out of your suffering. These coaches swoop in with like, oh, I was once in your shoes and I have the perfect solution for you. It just costs $2,000. And so, yeah, in retrospect, you can look back and be like, oh, I don't know how I was so dumb to fall for that. You're obviously in a much better position now if you're able to even have those thoughts than you would have been when you signed up for them. So it's just like, do not give yourself a hard time, because especially in this subreddit, so many of us have been in this same position. I'm just catching up on your comments here. Yeah, this part really hurts. I had so many coaching friendships that simply evaporated once I stopped investing in these programs. I know I've had a few conversations with people off the record who had very similar experiences, like people who would have been considered their closest friends, and then it's just like, yeah, we don't even talk anymore because we don't have anything to talk about because I'm not a coach anymore, or I'm not in coaching, or I don't do whatever. I know there was a few people that I was in my mastermind with when I was like paying for coaching, and a couple of them we stayed in touch with even after, because I stopped being a coach. But once I started making content, obviously like speaking out against what was happening in the industry, I got blocked by a couple of them. So, oops, hee hee. Just making sure I didn't miss anything else. Okay, looks like we're good. Okay, so I wanted to read that because I think that that really demonstrates how the content, literally like the podcast we just listened to, can work on people and convince them to hand over their money. And then they show up and what? They don't actually get the solution that they're looking for. It's really, really sad. Very, very heartbreaking. 100%. Just like MLM, it is all transactional. 100%. Okay. There is another post too, which was from a little bit ago, 3 months ago. But maybe we'll listen to another podcast and then we can go ahead and read that post as well. So this podcast is called Clearing the Belief That It's Not Going to Work Out for Me.
Y'all know we can't just talk. We're going to take some action. And a little reminder to allocate my next level of income just went off. If you guys are in WAP, you know what that means. I think it's going to work for me until it doesn't. And then I'm like, see, yeah. Your mind has been programmed to look for evidence that you're not going to win. I believe it's possible. No idea how. That's okay. I'm not going to ask you. Remember, I'm not going to ask you to have faith or just believe. Okay. I'm going to show you guys my favorite trick. You guys want to do a little RRT with me? Real fast, real quick. Hella potent. Yes, you do. Shake your head. Yes. I do this to my friends in bars all the time. Mickey's like, I've done it. I see your face right there. I did that to her on her podcast. Okay. So this is, do this one.
I gotta skip ahead. I can't with the
thing with me. Okay. What I want you guys to do, I want you guys to take the feeling of it's not going to work for me, and I want you to just close your eyes and cause it for just 3 seconds. 2, 3. Done. Okay, cool. So now, somewhere on your lower right, I want you to pick a visual anchor. So in front of me, I have my phone, and it's over on my right. And I'm going to go ahead and take that feeling of, I want it, but it's not going to work for me. That subtle little like annoyance or fear.
Let's do it, guys.
And I'm going to put that fear, the feeling of the fear, and I'm going to just put it into my phone, and I'm going to let my phone hold it. So you guys pick a visual anchor that's on your lower right side. And I want you to put that fear into it. You got it? Now I need people to start shaking their head. Yes? Cool. Thank you. Okay. Now, if you can pick it up, cool. If you can't, no big deal. But I want you guys to hold it or just look at it and say, I thought it had me, now I have it. I want to see your little mouth.
What?
Yes. I thought it had me, now I have it.
I thought it had me, now I have
Got it? We're already starting to take a little power
Oh my
back.
God, I
Okay,
feel
cool.
rich already.
So put it down if you're holding it, and then look back to me if you're not. And now up on your upper left, I'm going to have you guys keep your head still, but your eyes are going to move back and forth, left to right. And so I'm going to tell you guys what to do first, and then you guys are going to do it with me, okay? So your head's going to stay still, and I'm going to just show you, and your eyes are going to move back and forth, left
I can't
to
see
right.
you, lady.
You're going to look a little weird for just a second. That's okay, because you're going to feel amazing a few seconds afterwards. So as your eyes are moving back and forth, left to right, I'm going to have your mind call your attention to a peak memory. And as soon as that peak memory comes to mind, one specific one, I want you to stop your eyes, and I want you to pick a visual anchor for that memory, okay?
This is
a
too
peak
much.
Memory, something.
All right,
that
I'm already
is,
bored.
like,
Next.
full of bliss or whatever.
I don't feel richer. I don't feel richer. This is stupid. I'm sorry if you're watching this and you believe in this stuff, but I can't. I don't have the attention span for it. It's like I was working on, before I went live, I was compiling, sorry, my thoughts are running a mile a minute. I have a note in my phone, which I've talked about many times, where I will like copy links to content that I want to react to. I'm currently working on a part 3 to the manifestation series that I have going on right now, where I want to focus more on the like wealth manifestation coaches and why that's super predatory, allegedly, in my opinion. Anyway, I have probably 10 to 15 TikTok videos in this list, specifically under the manifestation category. So I was going through them today, trying to figure out, which ones I'm going to actually include in the video. And one of them was this like 7-minute long learn how to manifest $100,000. But it's a meditation. And as I started watching it, I was like, I can't even react to this. I'm so bored because of how silly this is, allegedly, in my opinion. Anyway, all that to say, I don't have the attention span to do these kind of exercises. So I guess I'm just going to stay poor and broke for the rest of my life. Such a shame. Yes, this is the methodology. She is charging thousands of dollars for it. That's going to cure, not help, not ease, cure your PTSD by just moving your eyeballs. Apparently. Where did she even learn this? I don't know. Who trained her? Great question. Nobody knows. I hate it here. Okay, let's see what else she has to say. Hopefully they're done this silly little eye movement thing.
Not a 0.5, not a 1, a 0. So if your volume dial is anywhere between a 1 to a 10, we want to dial it all the way back down to a 0. And as soon as you're at a 0,
okay,
you're just going to get as soon as that volume.
Still going.
Good.
It's like the mind was so convinced that like when, like how, or just really sad that maybe just not gonna work as soon as I wanted to, kind of feeling.
Okay. What we're not gonna do is we're not gonna put a timeline on it.
Yeah, one of these comments is saying, I think she's doing EMDR. She's doing RRT, Rapid Response Therapy or something. I already forget what it stands for. But yes, could very well be just a ripoff of EMDR if some random MLM coach on the internet is able to be certified in it. I'm going to guess it's not super legitimate.
It doesn't matter how long it takes. And it doesn't matter how we're going to do it, because we're going to talk about some how, right? And there's lots and lots of variety of different strategy for the how. So we're going to play with it. But what we want to play with is that when we start to incorporate teeny little things, then we're going to figure out how to get it to work for us. Okay? And so check for that emotion now of, is it going to work for me? Yes or faith or just believe.
Oops. I keep doing that. I'm guessing I skipped past the part where she started polling the audience on how they were doing.
Right, again, and this time a new, take a deep breath.
Okay, this one's stupid. Let's go to the next episode. I'm like, I think she's just going to continue to work through this exercise the whole time. I don't know what's happening. I'm still super lost and confused as to how we're getting richer with any of this.
It feels like shit. Are you willing to? Yeah. I see you, Romina. I will only say yes.
Right over my head. Hillary says, wait, she led people through this exercise, then kept their actual questions/reactions in the recording. This feels so predatory. Because she wants to prove to you that it works for other people, including the people in her Facebook group. So let me demonstrate how much these people live, laugh, love it, so that you'll pay for your opportunity to come do it too. This is like the coaches that record their coaching calls and then use them in their marketing material or post about it on their Instagram. I hate to see it, and they hate to see me coming when they do it.
If that money feels like pleasure, every single penny that I earn in my business feels like pleasure, or I'm out. In fact, I just refunded thousands of dollars to clients this month because I promised them a certain number of calls, and some of those calls felt like pressure. And so I refunded them so that I can stay in alignment with my values. And
some of those calls felt like pressure, aka I actually had to show up and do my job. And people weren't just going to pay me to not do my job, so I had to give them their money back. Can you imagine? Guys, you have a job that you go to work for, and when you don't go to work, you don't get paid. Unbelievable. That's so tough.
And they got to watch me live it. They got some money back, and everybody got a really valuable experience for that. My clients got to watch me embody my work. So here are the non-fucking negotiables.
My clients got to watch me embody my work. You mean do your fucking job? If I don't do my job, I don't get paid. That's how having a job works, having a business works. Clients only pay me if I give them the deliverables that they paid for. So yeah, if you're not going to show up for your coaching call, you should refund your clients. What?
Create the foundation of my business. Number one, I won't make a decision from fear. Clear the fear. Go back to the eye movement exercise, and then check in with your intuition. Now, if you're like, Andrea, I don't even know what that means. I don't know how to check in with my intuition. So this got a little bit easier for me once I started understanding human design. I don't know if you guys have ever studied that. So I started trying to understand first, like, what my human design authority was. And I learned that I'm an emotional authority. And what that means is that when I'm in an emotional high, I want to say yes to everything, and then I fucking regret it. And when I'm in emotional low, I also want to say no to everything, and some things I regret it. So because I can't hear my intuition.
Isn't that just like
my emotions?
Everyone? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if that's not you. But when I feel really good, I say yes to anything. I'm like, hell yeah. Let's meet for brunch on Saturday. And then Saturday rolls around and I'm like, why did I say yes to this? And when I feel bad or I'm depressed, obviously I want to say no to stuff. Like, isn't that just how dopamine works? When you feel good, you say yes. And when you aren't feeling good, you don't want to do anything. Why is she acting like that's a exclusive experience to her and her personality? I don't understand.
Are too extreme. So I know for me that I need to be a little bit more emotionally neutral so that I can actually check and see if something's a genuine fuck yes for me. So, but if you're feeling a little bit of fear of like, well, I don't know whether to invest here, I don't know whether to bring on this partner, I don't know whether to say yes or no to this potential client. If I
just give me your money, and that's what you should do.
Say no to them, what if another client doesn't come back, use that eye movement exercise, clear the fear, and then start to check in with your intuition and look for evidence of when is it that I listened to myself and I was like, whew, yeah, I got it. That made sense. I remember there was that little thing. There was either like just a shock, a feeling, a knowingness. Like everybody's intuition kind of signals to them slightly differently. So you're going to have to play with this. Let me say that even differently. You have an opportunity to play with this where you start to look at your own history and notice, when did I have a nudge? When did I have an urge? And I didn't listen to it. And I'm like, whew, hindsight is 2020 and I fucked that up. Or in the reverse, hindsight is 2020. Damn, I'm glad I did that. And
I don't know what she's talking about.
What I'm not going to suggest is that every time you listen, it's going to appear to work out. Some things don't work out, thank God. And we all have memories of, I mean, like, when my...
Wait. She's saying sometimes things don't work out, thank God. Isn't she a manifestation guru? Like, we've already established she's friends with Amanda Francis. She studied under Catherine Zenkina. Now you're telling me some things just don't work out? Well, wouldn't that be contrary to how manifestation works? If you're so good at manifesting and you can get anything you want if you just embody the right vibration, the math ain't mathing, because we should be able to get everything we want. So do things sometimes not work out, or are we master manifestors? Which story is it, lady? Because I'm seeing some holes in yours. Just saying.
When I was pregnant with my first, and the father of my child dropped me off on the side of the road, and I'm standing there like calling someone, my friend's mom, to come pick me up off the side of the road with all my things in a black trash bag. I thought, this really sucks for me. I wish he would come back for me. Thank God he didn't. I'm doing all right, guys. I'm doing just fine, right? We can all think of moments where it's like, thank God that didn't work out. So it's not about it always working out in the moment. It's do I feel glad to have done that? Did I learn something from it? Did I get a valuable experience? Did I get a teaching? Can I find value in this in my life? But you guys are going to start to notice that those little nudges actually more often than not start to stack on each other and stack up into something where a year from now you look around and you're like, whew, I kind of built myself a little bit of a palace, or at least I really laid a foundation. Okay. So number one, I won't make a decision from fear. If I feel fear, I clear it, and then I look at the information. And when I
Suzanne says, I'm lost. Me too. I'm really trying this time to listen to what she's saying. I think she's teaching us how to run our business. And lesson number one, it only took 5.5 minutes to get here, is to don't. Is to not make decisions from fear. Don't, whatever that means, don't make decisions from fear.
I say I look at it, it's more, is it activating energy inside of my body? So this comes to point or principle number two, my non-fucking negotiable number two, say yes to a turn on life. I tattooed that shit on my wrist. It literally says WAP over DOP on my wrist. Explain that to Dr. John Connolly, the sweet little 75-year-old man sitting at dinner where he...
It says what? I gotta go back.
So my non-fucking negotiable number two, say yes to a turn on life. I tattooed that shit on my wrist. It literally says WAP over DOP on my wrist.
Say yes to a turned on life? WAP over DOP? What is she saying?
Explain that to Dr. John Connolly, the sweet little 75-year-old man sitting at dinner where he goes, what's that tattoo mean? I'm like, oh, John. Here we go. I'm gonna have to explain it to my grandkids someday. Might as well start with John. Okay, so what it means is that this is my North Star. Say yes to a turned on, activated, hell motherfuck yes life.
Okay. Say no to fear. Say yes to a turned on life. Her words, not mine.
Meaning, even more simply, if I say yes to this, will it increase life force energy? Will it increase life force energy? Or will it take life force energy? And when I look at things that I say yes to, where I'm like, I'm going to say yes to that anyway, and I know it's going to take my energy, the thought that occurs to me next is, how many minutes is this going to shave off of my life? I look at it that way. Like if every decision that I make either increases lifespan or decreases lifespan, is this going to increase or decrease? Number one. Number two, how is it going to feel to do and to have done? So I want to offer you guys this concept of like these 3 buckets of pleasure. These are my 3 WAP buckets that I like to fill on.
Suzanne says, this is taking life force energy. Yeah, if I think about the things that are going to take away from my life, this podcast is pretty high up the list. Let me be honest. I'm losing life here listening to this.
Regular. Most people are making decisions of, will it feel good to do?
Well, this doesn't feel
I'm
good.
looking through the lens of 3 buckets. Will it feel good to imagine doing, actually do, and reminisce upon doing? So if you guys think about even people, I like to use this for food a lot. I do not overeat anymore at all, except for unless it's pretzels and hummus. And I just choose not to RRT that out of me because I just love it so much. It brings me joy. Anything else though, like I really just don't overeat. That's not always been true for me. When I was younger, I used to, I'd go have dinner with my boyfriend when I was a teenager, and my mom would be like, you're putting on a little too much extra weight, honey. Maybe you should stop eating pasta. And like, she was so concerned about me being overweight because she was concerned about how it was a self-reflection of fear around if she would lose love because she would be overweight, right? Like, which is a whole like another fucked up thing, not safe for today, right? But food is a really, really great metaphor in how this principle works because
Pablo's trying to figure out what I want for dinner, so he's spamming the chat with whether I want pizza or Vietnamese food. Erin says she'll take some pizza. So,
because when you use it in business, it works the same. And you'll notice that you don't don't overeat or undereat in your business too, meaning create burnout or stagnancy. So if it would feel good to imagine eating it, if it would feel good to actually eat, and feel good to reminisce about having eaten, I say yes to it.
okay, I want to address this comment here. It says, OMG, I know a coach like this. She cannot handle discomfort. It's all about pleasure, which is interesting because don't these coaches preach, getting outside your comfort zone? Nothing grows in your comfort zone. Bleh. So interesting. Interesting. I'm so lost, guys. I don't even know what her point is. I mean, I didn't know what her point was in the first place, but I'm really lost now.
And my whole life, I start to build up these perfect bite moments. Can't a perfect bite moment be a kiss? Can't a perfect bite moment be putting out a social media post where one person reads it and it's like, it creates such fierce connection and they're like, God, me too, me too, me too. And you get that like shared spark of energy. Can't a perfect bite moment be where something that was taking you 3 hours all of a sudden just took you 20 minutes and it's like, ooh, I finally caught my flow? Can't a perfect bite moment be so many things? So what if we decided to build our business into a collection of stacking up little teeny perfect bite moments? So
Okay, I think I missed that. Can someone in the live chat explain to me what a perfect bite moment is? I must have been texting about pizza when she explained what the perfect bite moment is. I'm very, very lost. Yeah, Suzanne says, let's ditch this and I'll get pizza. My stomach is going crazy right now. Perfect bite moment making me so hungry. Same.
Starting with the question, really, really simply put, will it give me energy or take my energy? Will it cause pressure or will it cause pleasure? Will it feel like wop over dop? Does it feel like wet ass pussy or dry ass pussy? If it makes me wet, I'm in. If it makes me dry, I'm out. That's how I shop. That's how I do.
Suzanne, I think you're right. This comment says, Danielle, I was hoping you would explain it. I don't understand either. Suzanne says, a perfect bite moment is when people pay you for nothing. That checks out. Honestly, from what we've heard so far, I think you're onto something. Oh my goodness. This lady is out to lunch, allegedly, in my opinion.
Business, that's how I date, that's how I do all the things. Does it feel like cherry on top energy? That's kind of my new playful mantra for myself. Say it with me, like, does this feel like cherry on top energy to imagine doing, actually do, and reminisce upon doing? If it does, hell yes, I'm in. If it doesn't, hell no, I'm out. But on the flip side, if I don't want to do it, is there somebody else that's like, but that's cherry on top energy for me?
Yeah, very good point. Erin says, I'm starting to think it's a good sign that we all don't understand it, which makes me think I want to be inside the brain just for 5 minutes of someone who listens to this and thinks that what she's saying, A, makes sense, but B, that like it sounds enticing. And it's like, oh my God, this woman is so smart and knows what she's talking about. It's like, I don't know what she's talking about.
We'll talk about daddy energy in a second. Don't worry, don't worry. So let me know if this is landing. Are there times where you guys can tell that you keep saying yes to something that's costing you energy because you think somewhere in your business that it's actually going to create an impact, but are you noticing it's not, or it's unsustainable? Say yes or no. Okay. So the next one is, am I working with the current or in opposition of the current of energy? So this is kind of a play off of the previous conversation of does it take my energy, or does it give me energy, or does it take my energy? If all you guys walked away with is like, just remember, WAP over DOP, or give energy or take energy, and start making new decisions through that, you're going to notice that you start to stack up.
WAP over DOP. Okay, what is the program called? Wealth Accelerator or something? So what's DOP? Debt Accelerator? I'm going to be in debt once I pay for this program, right? Am I right?
Up. Your whole business is going to be created in a way where it's like that yummy, delicious, perfect bite energy. You're excited to think about it, you're excited to do it, and you're excited and happy to reminisce upon it. Again, this is how we beat the matrix. Somebody told us that we could only have one of the three, and I'm here to tell you, y'all can have three of the three. I promise you, I will live my life in proof. I will live my life in testimony of the 3 buckets of WAP. So here's an example of what this looks like practically in business. Am I working with or in opposition of the current? So last week I was getting ready to teach my program, I'm So Paid. This is my program where I teach people affiliate marketing.
Okay, Hillary, you're making too much sense. Hillary says I think she means the other kind of WAP, and DOP is the opposite of that. So, yes, Zip says she's using the Cardi B meaning of WAP. Okay, that makes way more sense. I can't believe she would get that tattooed on her. Oh my god, how embarrassing for her. Oh my god, I hate that. I just want to play this sound because this is what I would feel like if I was her.
Now, easy, you can just learn how to clear them off and be literally fine.
Clear it off. Like, I do not want that on my body. What?
And I thought that I was going to be teaching one thing. I was trying so hard to sit down and write the curriculum. And now all of a sudden it's like 3 hours before a call, 2 hours before a call. And I'm like, shit, I better figure something out. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm in opposition of the current right now, which means that I'm trying to swim up a waterfall, which is why nothing's working. Who can swim up a waterfall? Find me someone. We're trying though. We're thinking somewhere in our head, we thought that swimming up a waterfall was actually achievable. And the reason that we thought that is not your fault. Somebody lied and told you discipline is enough. I dare say discipline costs you money, and it costs you sweet little precious moments off your lifespan. And it certainly costs you 1 or 2, if not 3, of your buckets of WAP.
Well, lady, this podcast has cost me a whole lot of brain cells. I'll tell you that for free.
I do not believe in the philosophy of discipline. I believe in desire. So if I'm working in and with the current of desire, then the current can take me just like sometimes music dances me. Have you guys ever stood in the kitchen and all of a sudden you just find your hips moving and you didn't even mean to? It's just like the music took you. I let the music of my business take me. Man, you guys, it's a whole different experience. So what I did is I asked myself, if I was in the current of pleasure, if I were to look at this differently, and this were working for me, and I did, then you can also ask this, when was the last time things felt like in flow? Things were moving freely, easily, quickly, in a way that was fun. What did that look like? For me, super ADHD brain, I don't like to sit down. One of my favorite mantras is movement creates momentum. And I'm like, oh shit, let me just grab my phone and move. Sometimes all I have to do is move and go get into the car. I close myself into the car, and I don't know if it's the idea that I could be driving, the idea that I could be in motion, that somehow moves me. But when something felt stuck, I go sit in the car, and all of a sudden it's like, psh, splash pad, waterfall of pop. And all of a sudden, like all the ideas come out, and I'm like, here it is. Here's my flow. Here's my current. So when it feels hard, stop yourself. You're in opposition. You're defaulting to this.
Yeah, guys, if you have a business and there's stuff that's difficult, just stop doing it. Don't feel like doing your bookkeeping because it's too hard? Just don't. Don't feel like replying to customers via email because it's too hard? Just don't. I can promise you, if you follow this woman's advice, your revenue is going to start looking like this. Down, 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 for those of you that are listening and not watching me, looking me in my eyes. Bad idea, bad idea. Allegedly, in my opinion, I would not be spending my money on this. You can do whatever you want with your money. It's free will and all that stuff. You can do whatever you want. I will not be subscribing to her and her programs. I'll tell you that for free.
Illusion, this fucked up idea that discipline actually has extreme value in your life. And I'm suggesting there is a better source of fuel, a way better, more cleanly burning, life force increasing, life expanding version of fuel. And that fuel is desire. Now, sometimes it takes a little while to switch these tanks. You guys come back to this over and over and over until you feel like that.
Trek says, don't want to pay your employees because it's too hard? Just don't. If it's hard, don't do it. Only do the easy stuff, guys. That's all you have to do. Just go on Facebook, turn on a Facebook Live, and just yap about whatever you want. That's the easy part.
That tank is switched, and that's just how you live now. But it will take a while, and I want to set that expectation really clearly with you guys because our brains are so programmed to work hard. Our brains are so programmed into hustle culture. We've been like this since we were little, like forced to do things that we never really wanted to do, that was never correct for us to do. And then we're walking around with these complexes of the plague of not good enoughness that lives either a touch or has kind of taken over a lot of people. And that is because we've been working against our gifts and we have been working in opposition of our current. So I like this philosophy, and I don't actually ever believe that anything that I say is like fundamentally true. I just know that it actually feels useful, and I like that lens better. Dr. Connolly said that.
I actually don't think that anything I say is true. It just feels better. What? Did she just say that? That's crazy. I don't think that anything I say is actually true, but you should definitely buy my coaching program because maybe some of that will be true. Maybe. No promises, but maybe.
That to me a while ago. He said, I don't really care what's true anymore. I just care, is this useful in my life? And that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, I will never live any other way again other than fuck truth, is this useful? And so what I find useful sometimes is to imagine that if my soul were like pulling my body like a puppet, like little puppet strings, and I just let it, and it's like, where does the wind kind of want to take this arm? And where does the wind kind of want to take this arm? And if I'm going with it, my soul actually has an aerial view where, have you guys ever been in traffic and you're looking and you're thinking like, fuck, this sucks. And it just feels so frustrating. But then have you ever been on a rooftop where you're looking down and it's nighttime and you see the string of headlights and it looks like magic? One feels like pain, one feels like pleasure. The only difference is perspective, an aerial view. Woo! I heard that metaphor from, we'll see if I pronounce his name correctly, Yogi Sadhguru. I love watching his YouTube channel. He's like so funny. And as soon as he said that, I was like, God, that's such a good metaphor. I can't wait to tell people about that one. How is it that we can shift the perspective to take something from pain to pleasure simply with the aerial view? I like that idea because I think if my soul actually has the aerial view and it can see ahead.
Oh my God, this lady is like, can't follow a single thought. like she starts to say something where I'm like, okay, I think I understand like what she's trying to say, kinda. And then she just takes it somewhere else. And I'm like, oh, this is not where I thought we were going with this thought. I'm lost. I've been lost for the last 1 hour and 44 minutes. Hello, does anybody have a map? Can anyone help me? I'm so confused.
Head in front of me, it can see where things are starting to ease up. And if it's pulling me that in that direction and I'm resisting it, why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. If it's moving me towards ease, if it's moving me towards flow, if it's moving me towards potency and pleasure and all of the things that I've been intending for myself, why would I work in opposition of that? That would be like somebody pouring me a glass of like crystal and then me saying like, let me just add little sips of water into this and take a sip, and like diluting over and over and over. Why would we dilute something so wonderful? And yet we do all the time when we are feeling this opposition energy in our body and we work against it.
I thought those sirens in the background, it's some music. Okay. Holy moly, I think I just lost some brain cells listening to that one. Again, what was the point? What was I supposed to take away from that? Still not entirely certain what's going on. Yeah, gym lessons. Is this her truth or her true? If you know, you know. The OGs who have been here a while know the true is the truth. And that's on facts. Burb is asking how successful this person is as a coach. Allegedly, according to her Instagram, she's made $3.7 million. Now, is that true? I guess we'll never know. I'm not in her bank account. So, who's to say? Not me. Anyone can say anything on the internet, so let's just keep that in mind. Interesting. It's apparently called weaving, this style of ambiguous dialogue. What is the intention? Am I just supposed to get really confused so that I think, this lady must be so much smarter than me. I'm going to pay her money to figure out what she's saying. My brain cells died and I lost half my life force. Yes, indeed. We gave our energy to this clown. Okay, there's like 4 more episodes, but I can't do it, guys. I can't. I'm sorry. It hurts my brain. We could read the last Reddit post, because there is another Reddit post on here, just for a little bit more context if we want. So let's do that actually, and then we'll sign off. My camera looks like it might die, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. Confusion is the point. Okay, well, she lost me. I got so lost in the confusion. I don't know what way is up and down is up, but I bet she's just saying this.
I want all of you to like let that one especially like deeply sink in.
Just let it sink in and maybe it'll make sense eventually. Okay, so this is the other post that was on Reddit when I Googled Andrea Crowder Reddit, which again, if you missed the beginning, I got connected with a reporter like a year ago for a feature in an article where they were talking about the good and the bad side of coaching. And this was the good coach that they decided to highlight in that article. And I was so embarrassed when this article came out, I never told anyone that it was even published. So you can Google it on your own. Maybe if you search her name and my name, you'll be able to find it. But tragic, honestly, just tragic. So let's go ahead and read what this alleged former client had to say. And I'm sorry if you can hear the sirens outside my window. They're very loud. Okay. Andrea Crowder and her BS programs. The reason myself and lots of women get stressed is often severe adrenal fatigue, thyroid issues, etc. from years of emotional abuse and stress. Her programs do not fix that. I feel like there might be a lot of women out there who have taken this coach's programs or are thinking about purchasing her programs and can relate to my situation. It's important for me to say, this is all alleged. I am not reading this, stating it as a fact. This is what a random account on Reddit posted. It could be a hater troll for all I know. I'm just reading something that you could also read publicly on the internet. Okay, thanks. I've gone through over a decade of constant stress from a very toxic environment that I did not have the money or support to get out of. Insane amounts of emotional and physical abuse. My entire family took the side of my physical abuser. I didn't have any friends because my abuser made me feel too worthless to have any. This is horrific. First of all, I am so sorry to this individual. What the actual fuck? This is what I'm saying. This is the type of people these people prey on. It's disgusting. Then I was feeling completely empty and drained and had totally lost any spark that I ever had. Along comes this coach and her programs like Regulate and WAP that are supposed to help make your life magical. She sells her stuff like it just fixes everything and fixes everybody. Everyone is getting incredible results. It was particularly painful to hear her say, paraphrasing, "You have all the support that you need, so much support, tons of support, reach out to your support network," in her programs when I had less than zero support. I know I'm not alone in feeling angry hearing her say that in her programs. That statement is dismissive, detached, and out of touch. I'm not sure that Andrea has the ability to feel empathy saying things like that. Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, this person is saying that inside the program, the coach is basically like, oh, well, you have a support system. You should lean on them. When some people very well might not, which is why they're in the program in the first place. Hello? Reality's calling. Is anybody home? Because of my severe adrenal fatigue and thyroid issues, I did not have the mental or physical energy to get out of this environment. Severe adrenal fatigue and thyroid issues can cause brain fog so severe that you feel you're mentally disabled constantly. I have a feeling that this is why these programs aren't working for so many people. Any manipulative salesperson knows that the people in a position like myself are desperate for anything that sounds like it can help them. We can be easy to manipulate because we're so desperate for anything to help us get out of our nightmare situation. That's what I'm saying. These programs are designed to target the most vulnerable people that these coaches can find. Allegedly, in my opinion. So if you're thinking of getting into her programs, you might just need to work on your adrenal fatigue and thyroid issues first. These issues leave you feeling constantly drained, constantly tired. Doesn't matter how much sleep you get, you never feel rested. Your brain constantly feels sluggish. You pretty much feel kind of depressed all the time. Sometimes okay, but never good. These programs are not what I needed. It's hard to pass up purchasing from her when she sells stuff like it's a magic potion and fixes everything. 1000%. And this is, again, not unique to this specific coach. This is something we see across the industry. These people packaging up their 5-step solution, their 3-step blueprint, blah, 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 into the perfect magical solution that's going to solve all of your problems. And what do we know? We know that it's not going to solve your problems. It's probably going to make your problems worse, actually. Disgusting. Be careful with me. My last remaining brain cell is not feeling good. Ain't that the truth? Out of touch, delusional, privileged. They don't see the reality of other people's lives. 100%. They just see dollar signs. Cha-ching, cha-ching, baby. Sign me up. Send me your credit card. Ugh. Okay. Well, my friends, we've made it to the end. Halla frickin' Luya. I'm definitely feeling stupider. That's for sure. Absolutely cantasterous, as one might say.
You have cantasterous things in your life happen.
Cantasterous things such as this live stream. But I just want you all to remember this one important fact.
A podcast is the greatest education you can get.
A podcast is the greatest education you can get. And so we are all more educated than we were 1 hour and 53 minutes ago. So keep that in mind. I will also, for those of you, the 27 of you that are still on here right now, I am not going live for the next 2 weeks. So clear your schedules or book your schedules. Fully booked, baby. You don't need to hang out with me. I'm taking some time off because it's summer. So I'll be back mid-July, I think. I gotta look at a calendar. I think it's only 2 weeks that I'm off. And then I'll be back. Okay, anyway, just look at my channel. It'll tell you. Watch me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I'll post updates there. Spoken like a true influencer. I don't have enough life force left to keep live streaming every week. 0. That's how much. I gotta go eat some pizza. Okay, take care. Comb your hair. I'll see you guys in my next video coming soon. Okay, bye.